messages.
All right, just want to make sure you can see everything that's on my screen. Perfect. All right. If there's any questions or anything else, we can actually ask the questions or put them in the chat box. I wanted to welcome everyone to our morning talk. If you have coffee, that's great. Or if you're done with it, that's great too. The topic for our workshop today and for our conversations is helping seniors preparing for their move, and overview of the questions and thoughts and suggestions that we always make for them. This is a great coffee talk this morning in conjunction with the beautiful residents at Chadds Ford. And my name is Olga St. Pierre. I am a senior living specialist and a real estate agent with Keller Williams Real Estate. So I wanted to thank you for joining us today. And we're going to jump in and talk a little bit about the beautiful residents Chadds Ford. And I have two marketing directors that are here with us. So Cindy, Heather, please introduce yourselves and talk to us about your beautiful community.
Sure. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Heather Perry, and I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing here at the residence at Chadds Ford. And I hope you can hear me through the mask, but because Cindy and I are so close, we wanted to remain safe on our end. But we are an assisted living community. In Pennsylvania, we call them personal care communities. We offer independent personal care and memory care all here at our beautiful community. We have 88 apartments and are holding a dual license for our IL and PC residents. So we'll get into that in a little bit later. I just want you to hear from Cindy.
Hello, thank you for joining us today on this call. Olga's done an incredible job of helping us understand what it looks like through the move process. And if perhaps you are looking for a community, as Heather shared, it's really unique that we hold the dual license that you can move in independent living in that same apartment space and be able to have that same level of care in your same apartment as the care level needs increase into personal care. So you don't need to move throughout the building to a different level of care. And we hope you have the opportunity after this presentation to come and visit us. We're happy to do an in-person tour, or if you would like, we are more than happy to do a virtual one. Thank you.
So Olga, if you wouldn't mind, some of the notes here that I know that everybody can see on the screen that really highlights our community. It is modern with a lot of really cool and unique amenities. We have an awesome bistro. We have a library, a salon. There's private dining options. Even through COVID, we've been able to safely utilize that space. We have apartments that vary from studios to studios with dens. We have one bedrooms with dens. We also have very luxurious 2 bedrooms that we do month to month rental options on. So that's really a fun little tidbit about our community. Some of the exciting daily social life includes the exercise, the community involvement. We do happy hours, we do pizza, we do margarita music. So we've done a lot of really fun and engaging activities with our residents and some of their friends. So getting back to a little bit of normalcy with everything with COVID, we've been able to expand the guidelines, but in a safe manner where we're having apartment visits again with our loved ones. So that is huge. We are seeing an increase of families who are able to reunite, which is really cool. So we're really here to support our loved ones in any way that we can.
And some of the other important things that we do a little bit differently here is we really focus on the tech features in the apartments for individuals. Each room is equipped with Alexa, not only there to share the music of the person's choice, but it does have the feature built in if they want to ask the specials of the day, what type of engagement is going on throughout the day as well. So we have that built into every single apartment in our community, as well as we have in our independent living and personal care apartments, induction cooktops, which are very safe way of navigating the stove. We give equipment that is specialized to that stove surface So if you put something on the stove by accident, it will not ignite unless it's engaged with the actual stoveware that we've supplied. So that's a nice feature that we've added in. And I guess our biggest important feature is our 24/7 nursing that we have clinically in our building here to support people's needs of having actual nurses on site, and an in-house therapy program that is with Beata for OT, PT, and speech.
So also, just to piggyback off of what Cindy was saying, along with the 24/7 nursing right here on site in-house, we have the in-house therapy providers. We also do something really neat with our dining experience. We have anytime dining from 7 A to 7 P. So if you have a loved one who likes to sleep in and they miss breakfast, it's okay. They can order straight off the menu, restaurant style dining. They're never going to miss a meal or go without. We even have some residents who'll take desserts back to their apartments for later in the evening when they're watching their television show. So with that, that's all included in our special pricing. So we are offering a special right now on our independent studios and 1-bedrooms, as well as our personal care studios 1-bedroom. In our memory care reflections program, it's very unique, it's very intimate. We have special pricing that includes a care rate lock, which is a huge astronomical savings, not just short term, but also long term. So if you have a loved one who's interested in either the independent living, the personal care, or even memory care, please, by all means, reach out to us. We would love to help.
Do you have the units available in each of the categories, in each of the stages?
Yes, that's a great question. So we were allotted a handful in each area, so we can certainly meet that expectation.
When I was looking in your on the website, and what I really liked your calendar. I love to see that it's full and you can participate in everything pretty much every day from start to finish of the day.
Yes.
Versus just doing, picking and choosing. So that was really amazing. Yeah.
I was doing a tour with the family just yesterday, and I went up to where the activity was going on. Just by chance, I was passing by. I'm like, where's this awesome music coming from? I see our residents doing the twist. They're singing. It's just a really fun atmosphere. It's what senior living is really all about. Keeping our loved ones safe, protected, and having fun.
Absolutely. Patty?
Question? Sorry, Patty, I thought I saw you raise your hand. No? Okay.
No? Okay. Yeah, I also like the 21st century technology, the fact that you have the Alexa. It just makes things simple for seniors just to ask the question versus looking for, other technology, maybe to write or to email. So I love the fact that just makes things easier where seniors don't have to stress over and be more anxious about simple things like that.
Absolutely. And we even personalize it down to hand delivering the calendars the night before. So our residents have an opportunity to plan their next day out. If there's something that grabs their attention, they can kind of rework their day so that they don't miss anything going on in-house, which I think is a really neat feature. If they forget or misplace their paper, they can just go, Alexa, what is the activity at 2:00? Or tell me the activity schedule for the day. And it's right at their fingertips. So it's very easy process, easy to follow. I don't know of anybody else that's really doing that right now. So it's kind of unique to our community.
We are progressive in that way.
Yes, absolutely.
So I don't know if you are back to it or it's still kind of, not sure because of the safety, but do you have any trips that you plan for residents? Like I know, for example, some other communities have maybe used to have a trip to Atlantic City or to a farmer's market or to, grounds for sculpture, go to take whoever's interested, maybe going to a museum or something, doing something offsite.
So we do include that in our monthly calendar that is planned out pretty well in advance with the, this season, what's going on. However, with COVID, we haven't gotten back on that actual schedule yet. So will it be in place? Absolutely. Is it live and jiving right now? Not so.
With our COVID restrictions in transportation, At this particular juncture, it is for eminent needs for medical visits and appointments. So that is the scope of our transportation. But I can say with conviction that our engagement director is bringing the engagement here to our building. So as even though they're not heading out for the outings per se to speak of those unique places that you've described, we have really elevated the opportunities to really hone in on providing quality engagement here and bringing those opportunities in-house.
Can you give me an example of some of the field trips, so to speak, that
Sure.
residents could take before we had the health concerns?
Sure. So I do know that the museums right in Philly, whether they go to the park and then they hit the art museum, that two that have been on the calendar in the past. I do know that Brandywine right here in our local area offers a lot of historical sites as well. So I know that they have done some visits right here locally. Longwood is right down the road from us. So that's another beautiful outing that our residents have partaken in the past. So we're looking forward to seeing those on the calendar again.
Awesome. And I think your residents, the building itself is relatively new, right? How young are you?
Correct. So that's a really great question. So on paper, we've been open a little bit over 14 months. However, of those 14 months, there was a time period where COVID was completely shutting everybody down, not just our community, not because we had positives, but because that's what the guidelines were at the time. So we were not open for admissions 4 of those months. So we haven't had but 1 year of the ability to move new loved ones in. With that being said, we are seeing a complete 360 right now. People are now they're getting their second vaccination. They're becoming more comfortable with going ahead and making that transition into senior living. So we have seen such an increase in not just volume, but overall occupancy. And by the end of this year, our building will be more than 3/4 occupied. So that's huge, being a brand new building.
In the real estate language, you guys are new construction.
Yes,
because 14
yes.
months, it's new construction. So, to some of the seniors that I know, being able to move into the community that is newer is actually very important. So the fact,
Right.
14 months is actually brand new. How are the residents doing on the vaccinations? Are most of them done, or they're still maybe waiting or on schedule?
Quite honestly, it's personal choice. We're not forcing anybody to get that vaccine, but I have to tell you, more have gotten it than not gotten it. So, which is a huge blessing to see so many people taking that proactive step to keep not only themselves healthy, but everybody else around them. So we have had a really good turnout with the vaccinations, and we've already gone through all of the series. So
Okay.
we were lucky enough. We had the Pfizer vaccine, and Cindy and I were both lucky enough to have gotten our vaccinations as well.
Excellent. From what I understand, when I was doing my monthly coffee yesterday for our database, is that I think April 19th is when it's going to be open for everyone. So hopefully more of the population
awesome.
can get it done
That's
and feel more
exciting.
comfortable to be able to get out. Awesome. Is there
Absolutely.
anything else that you would like our audience to know about your beautiful community? Maybe talk a little bit about what you have in terms of outdoor space for people to enjoy the weather, nature.
So we do have 2 courtyard areas here on our property. So we even have an area where if you have a small dog, you can walk your pet outside. We do allow, small dogs less than 35 pounds to be here living with us in our community. In fact, we have 2 doggies on site right now. So we have areas, that are convenient for the dogs. But we also have a beautiful sunroom upstairs. We have rocking chairs out on the porch for our loved ones to be able to sit outside with some friends or, with their husbands, wife, whatever it is, have a nice drink and just kind of take in the whole, atmosphere. So we have areas indoors and outdoors that are really tailored to senior living.
Awesome. Anything else that you think that we should know about your beautiful community before we head into our senior overview?
Sure. So I think honestly what Cindy said with the 24/7 nursing, our building is absolutely gorgeous, but what goes on behind the closed doors is even more important. So we really personalize the care plans for our loved ones. No two people are ever the same, so we want to make sure that their needs are being met physically, emotionally, cognitively. So we really do focus on the overall experience and what it is that's important to each and every one of our residents.
The one question I just thought about is in terms of paying for the care.
Yes.
Do you have any Medicaid beds that are available at your facility?
We do not. So Medicaid is not a method of payment in personal care in the state of Pennsylvania. So that's not an LCB, guideline. It's literally a state guideline. So we are private pay. But if that situation were to, come about, we can certainly help in transitioning and redirecting the person to where they may be able to get Medicaid in Pennsylvania.
So also something that comes up, Olga, as Heather just mentioned, Medicaid is in assisted living facilities in New Jersey, not in the state of Pennsylvania. The other methods of payment that people might have in their back pocket would be long-term care insurance, or they may be eligible for the veterans benefit that applies to someone who is a widow, a spouse of a veteran. So that is another alternative method of financial resources that are available to people when they're trying to align how to pool resources together to move into a community.
Perfect. Yeah, so you covered the private pay and the other financing options. Great.
Absolutely.
Anything else that you want to add before we move forward?
No, let's move forward.
Good. Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Much. Thank you.
All right. Awesome. So I just wanted to introduce myself a little bit to you, although you know a little bit about me already. I have been licensed to practice real estate and serving clients in New Jersey and Pennsylvania for the last 12 years. This is what I do full time, and I'm very much passionate. And a big part of my work is working with senior population and their families. And our team mission is not only to be able to help just about anyone who has a passion and interest to become a homeowner, but once they do, to have them become comfortable and being sustainable and responsible homeowners, right? We do have moving service pretty much anywhere in the United States and Canada. I think I have more retired clients in Florida right now than any other state in the country, for sure. Every part of the coast, I think, is covered there. And I have 2 more that are moving in September that I just found out yesterday. Nice. And our concierge service is, think of this as virtual yellow pages from A to Z, just like Amazon. If our clients need any professionals in terms of accountants or financial advisors or attorneys, or something more hands-on that help them with their home to make sure that they protect one of their most important investments, contractors, decluttering, hard labor, anything and everything landscaping, we're there for them. So, if you guys need any assistance or have clients, then we're here to help them. So what we're talking about today is actually making and helping our seniors make a move. And this is actually one of the first workshops that I started teaching in our community over 3 years ago, because I realized just how many misconceptions that were around for people who were trying to understand how does this work, what is it going to take, and whether it's for seniors that were trying to make these decisions or their families and their loved ones that were trying to make these decisions. And I realized in my own personal experience of working with so many older clients over the years, for whom the actual selling process is so much more anxious and stressful than for my younger sellers, right? So overall moving, if you think about it, is one of life's top 10 stressors. It is on the same level as, loved one, someone who is sick, someone who is passing on, getting a new job or losing a job. So what we found is that especially for seniors, just priorities and decision-making process changes over the years. What they're looking at now is a yard that is too big, too many steps to go up and down, in the house, too many rooms to clean, and too much stuff. And I can tell you 100% that most of my seniors don't realize how much stuff they have accumulated over the years of raising the family in that house until they actually start, packing and making decisions sometimes when it's under time frame. So With the different priorities and health challenges and potential new decisions to make, a lot of the seniors who are, older generations, they start feeling lonely. They feel like they're helpless and there's nobody around there to help them. Then they're frustrated, overwhelmed, and then nothing is happening. So today's workshop and the coffee chat is really about just a quick overview of what some of the decisions and things that a senior and their family that has to make and ask themselves to help them making that downsizing process less stressful and less anxious. So here's what are some of the questions that I always ask our families when we sit down with them and make the plans. And I'm a big believer of still old school, right? I still have a notebook that I use, and this is what I recommend to everyone, where take everything that's on your mind and just take it out of your brain and out of your head and write it down. And see, these are some of the questions that we're going to be talking about, right? How do I feel about my decision? Where am I going to live? What about my finances? What am I taking with me? What to do with the stuff that I'm not taking with me? Who is helping me? And what about my home, right? And how do I start? So these are just some of the questions that I ask in terms of making homework for the family and say, okay, these are the questions that you're going to have to ask yourself. So a lot of these questions are heavy in terms of making important decisions that are changing their lives, right? You're going to be uprooting yourself. However, the questions are very much important that need to be asked. What we always start out with is the mental decision, right? I am finally ready. I need to make that, downsizing. And my goal is to help them understand that we need to think positively about that decision, right? You're not downsizing because downsizing has a negative connotation to it. You are right sizing, right? Mm-hmm. You're not just moving, but you're moving forward. And the goal is to realize that you are making a move, the right move that is for you, right? And maybe for your loved one that you're with, versus making decisions for your family who may no longer be with you because your children already have their own families, right? So we're talking about making decisions that are positive and they're done with confidence and are done with anticipation about the new life that will unfold, right? So because we're talking about new opportunities. So that is the first step in figuring out what this process is going to look like, because the mental preparedness is everything in this process. So then we talk about, where am I going to live? And these are some of the things that I put in the mix when we're talking about options, right? For example, I asked them, what is going to be the desired size of your home? Are we talking about a 1-bedroom apartment, or do you want to have 2 bedrooms because you plan on having loved ones and maybe grandkids visit? Or do you just want to have a bedroom and a den? Right? Because that ultimately is going to help them create that floor plan that they're looking for, that will help them with their decluttering and figuring out what furniture they're going to take with them. Okay. Area where you want to live in. Are we talking about you downsizing from your colonial and going and staying in the same town? Or are we talking about moving cross country to Florida, right? Because those are huge decisions that have to be broken down, where we talk about phases, right? So phase 1 will be downsizing here. And then phase 2 will be making the trip to head to Florida. What type of new home? Are we talking about, being in the community where you have amenities, you don't want to take care of your lawn anymore, you don't want to worry about snow, or you just want to go into a condo in the apartment, right? Some people that I know just still want to have their own home and they don't care about the amenities. That means they're going into a ranch home where the living is just all on one floor and they don't have to worry about the steps. So the next question that I asked them is level of care. People don't like to think about the fact that their health may deteriorate with time. And unfortunately, I always tell them, listen, I'm not going to give you unicorn and stars. I'm going to ask you to think about these difficult things that we may not want to think about right now, but are even more important to think about right now, so that you are prepared, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So are we talking about assisted living or dependent living, or do we have enough health concerns to consider home care or maybe long-term care, right? And these questions come up all the time. You know what? I cannot afford something else. I cannot afford to be in the community. I really just want to retire and, stay in my own home, right? So that is aging in place. And we talk about that as an option that is viable for many seniors. And what I am finding is that the families or the seniors don't realize how much work needs to be done in their home in order to make that home completely safe for them to stay in their home. And then we review an actual home safety assessment checklist where we can go room by room and take a look and see what is in their current home and see what kind of changes that need to be made. So here is a great graph that is helpful for the families who are just not sure what is included in the communities and how much things cost. And what I always tell them is that the less care you need, the less amenities that you're looking for, the less expensive it's going to be overall, right? The more care you need and the more amenities you're looking for, it's going to be more expensive, right? So if we look at that graph, if we're talking about a continuous care community or where it's a nursing home or hospice care, of course, or memory care unit is going to need the highest level of care. This graph, I also found it helpful where people are sometimes wondering, okay, well, what does assisted living mean, right? What is included? And this graph just provides a general guidelines. Of course, it varies from community to the community on if you are looking to have a 24-hour supervision, or if you want your loved one to have that 24-hour nursing staff like you guys have at your community, this is what we're talking about. And the more care is available, the more amenities are available, it's going to be more costly. So as you can see, the memory care and skilled nursing facilities are the most expensive. But overall, I find that families, when they look at this graph, they're like, okay, based on our loved ones' needs or potential needs in the near future, this is the type of home and the type of community that we should be considering. All right, reviewing your finances. These communities, whether it's assisted living or maybe you're considering your campus where it's moving from one area to the other, are not going to be inexpensive. It is a big investment in yours or your loved one's stay. So these are the questions that we ask when we sit down with families. Where are the funds that are going to come from entering into the communities? If you need to put a deposit down, where's the money going to come from? Do you need to sell the current home in order to buy a new home? Okay. Does it make sense for you to meet with your financial advisor, to meet with your attorney about the life and estate planning? And we also talk about which housing options may be best depending on financial and health decisions as well. And what I can tell you is that most of the time, these decisions get postponed until things have to be decided because the loved one fell and now they can't stay in their home. So these are the hard questions that I really am passionate about, helping families understand that they need to be looked at and decided and set down and talked about now, when this is not needed yet, but we know that it's going to be needed probably soon enough. So when we sit down and talking with your loved ones, besides talking about the finances and the legal planning, it is also important to have a conversation with the loved ones, basically about our seniors' wishes. Okay, it is an honest conversation where the senior is going to tell the family what is important to them, right? Are they scared? And why are they scared? What do they want to do? What they don't want to do? Those are some important conversations to have with family. Where to find the important documents? This is huge. I can't tell you how many times the family members will call me and say, I can't find mom's death certificate. I can't find her will. I don't know where, I can't get into their bank account. I don't know what to do. And this is exactly what we're trying to avoid by asking these tough questions now and hoping that the family is going to be prepared. So creating a list of accounts, where to find things, passwords, list of passwords, if there is an extra key to be made for the box at the deposit box at the bank, who is going to be in charge if the loved one passes away, right? If let's say there's 3 children that are going to be left. Importantly, to have a conversation with the child that the family or the loved one may want to appoint as the executor to make sure that the child is comfortable doing that, or they may not. Who is the team? The team would be your attorney, financial advisor, and your accountant, and make sure that these team members know who the executor is going to be or the person in charge who is going to be if the loved one is not able to make those decisions. So having this conversation is one of the most important things that I stress in families, and unfortunately, it doesn't happen as often as I think I would like for families to do. What am I taking with me? Meeting with the community moving manager, right, a marketing manager in the community is very helpful, so that way they can design a new floor plan, right? Is the loved one going to be in the studio, or is this going to be a 1-bedroom with a den or a 2-bedroom apartment? So that will help the family and the loved ones to sort the personal belongings, especially furniture. Furniture is one of the hardest things to get rid of. But what we can do is we know the floor plan on what they're looking for in their new location. It is an exciting way to get rid of stuff that is old and no longer needed and make a plan for the new things, okay? And this is where we also talk about decluttering, right? And kind of trying to get things organized and sorted out and have some kind of control over the things that the family is going to have to go through, the things that have been accumulating over the last 30, 40 years. We're going to keep some things, donate some things, sell, throw, and also have another separate category of putting important papers inside. And I always recommend a colorful tote, right? Something that you're not going to lose, and then put all of the documents in that colorful tote to make sure that they can be found easily. What I can tell you is that decluttering is something that I recommend for everyone to start yesterday, right? If they could start it yesterday, today is a great day. Even if you do a little bit every day, it's going to make a huge difference versus when you have to do it because your loved one has to move into the community in the next 30 days. And then at that point, unfortunately, you're just throwing stuff away because you don't have time to deal with it. Who can help the family and the loved one from start to finish? This is what I stress all the time, is that they don't have to do it alone. If their family members are not close, they are 2 states away and they have to get on the airplane to get here, we have the concierge service. That's why we're here to help you and coordinate everything. A lot of times, I sometimes feel like a general contractor where I have to get someone to do a stucco repair, then we have to have someone who can help doing organizing, and then someone who can come in and just take all the stuff out that is no longer needed just to be thrown away, and then have someone who works with antiques to come in and evaluate things and take them out for selling. So this is why we work with a group of talented people who are very good about what specifically they do. So it's a moving company, contractors, packers, cleaners, anyone that the family can think of that they need, we do have them and we can make recommendations. What am I doing with the stuff that I no longer plan to take with me? Of course, there is a plan. We can make arrangements for those things to be sold, to be donated, to be removed. We can definitely do it now safely, right? A lot of the things are being done virtually and then being arranged for pickup. So one of the things I continue to stress to the families and to our seniors is that they don't have to do it alone. We are here to help them and make it as stress-free as possible. So what about my home? For many families that we work with, the senior's home is their biggest investment that they have, and that is the amount of money that they plan on using to pay for their next level of care and for the community that may be moving into. So again, if this is not happening for the next year, I still say to them, it is a good idea to see what your home is worth right now, to learn about what the current market conditions are in the city and the neighborhood. So that way you know what to expect and you know exactly what the equity in your home is. So that way you can make the plans, because I can assure the families that their attorney, their financial planner is going to ask those questions. And it's always nice to be prepared and say, well, my realtor told me that my current home is worth $400,000. I don't have any mortgage on it. So this is what we can rely on when I sell my home. Here's my pool of money that I can draw from. So how do we make it last? How do we plan? So I always go through 12 months of conditions in the neighborhood to give them an idea also how the prices of the homes fluctuate, not only with the demand, but also with seasons, with the schools being out and the schools that are coming in, okay? And of course, again, who is going to help you through the process and what does the selling process look like itself? Because once you put that home on the market, you are going to be in the time frame. It's a countdown for you to actually make your move. And it's important that the clients and the seniors are aware that now there's a timeline involved. So I just wanted to include in here just a quick local real estate market overview. And when I do the specific custom evaluations for our clients, I tell them that the price of their home depends on their neighborhood, on their town, as well as on their school district. It really does vary that much. So this is just a quick overview of the local area by Chatsford. So if we look at the Delaware County in general, right? So here's what I wanted to share with you. Right now, it is an amazingly great time to sell. Okay, I know that some seniors were kind of not sure what was happening, how to make plans for that. And this is exactly what we do. We try to reverse engineer and say, okay, if you want to be in your new home by a certain date, we take a look at the home and also what's happening in the marketplace. And we say, okay, it's going to take so much time once the contract is received on your home for the buyer to buy your home. And then it's going to take us, let's say, for sure, under 30 days to market your home and get an offer. And then how much time is it going to take us to prepare your home to put it on the market? So we always work with the end in mind if we already have a time frame that the senior is working with in their family. So just to give you an example on the key metrics that we always look at, this is a comparison from a one-year change from the fourth quarter of 2019, just to give you an idea, and the median sale price jumped 12%. Average sales price increased by 14%. And also there's 65% less homes on the market this year than last year, right? So what that's telling us is that there's a huge demand for homes. There's tons of buyers that are looking for homes right now who want to take advantage of the really low interest rates that are still continuing. And we are not anticipating that's changed in a while. Average property marketing period is 28 days, which in a lot of times I'm seeing that actually being a week, right? So, and as you can see, we have a lot less homes for sale, yet the closed sales are a lot larger, which is the graph that's on the right-hand side where you're looking at the orange columns. And this is exactly what we're seeing right now. There's 3 times, 4 times as many buyers that are looking at homes, yet there's a lot less homes that are actually coming on the market. The same thing that we can see in Chester County. We have a lot less homes that went on the market this year versus last year. The average sale prices, the median sale prices are growing, which means that the sellers are getting amazing pricing for their homes. They are in complete control whether they're doing repairs or not. And they are walking away with a substantial increase in their equity, which right now, if the seniors are looking to make the transition into a senior community, that increase in equity is an amazing benefit to them because that is the extra money that they can plan on having for their move into the senior community. So I do have a lot of free senior resources available. I'm a big believer in having checklists and preparing and having floor plans. So I have a whole list of library resources for seniors that I'm happy to share with everyone. These are just some of the things that we offer. So if you visit our resources for seniors link, you will see a whole checklist and you can just check off the items that you're looking for and we'll be happy to send it off to you. And of course, not one situation and another situation is similar. Every family, every senior situation is unique. And this is why we always stress that let's talk about your own personal situation and what are you looking to accomplish. So that way I can advise you better or put you in touch with other resources and other professionals that can help you and advise you as well. We have tons of senior workshop series. We're starting a new one actually next month. And we have some things that are happening this month. Our Live with Olga schedule is updated pretty much daily. If you want to check out and see if there's other senior workshop series that may be of interest to you. And then all of our workshops are recorded, including this coffee talk as well. And it is always available to you on our YouTube channel. You can check out anytime, 24/7 from the comfort of your home. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. I hope that you found the questions as well as the presentation helpful. And any questions that you may want to ask now or maybe add and contribute in some way, because I'm always looking for suggestions as well if there's anything else that you think that seniors may think about or need to know.
You know, Olga, I think you've presented that in such a way that it's reality and it's truly the the folks are living with fear of the unknown. So just being that resource to get them from A to Z, to provide that bit of comfort, I think is amazing what you're doing. And to look at those numbers with the increase of almost 14% in some areas, that's incredible if you just think of where we were 6 to 10 months ago. So I'm glad that you were able to pull that literature together for us, because the numbers speak, they're real. So to me, I'm a numbers person. That's just blowing my mind right now. So I just love that you can really bridge that gap and offer that additional support that really is needed. It's a huge decision. It's a lot of just, again, the unknowns that make the move very scary for families. So thank you for sharing all that wonderful info.
This presentation did a really good job of breaking it down in digestible ways to be able to see those steps that make it look realistic. That a lot of times when people are getting ready to move, it can feel so overwhelming. And you really help navigate the process that one, you're not alone, and that you do have resources around you. And if they don't have the resources, how to get to those resources so they're not feeling that it really is on them as an individual to process this through, and that it can be done. So thank you very much for clarifying all those angles of what that process looks like.
I can give you an example with one client that I have is back this week. We were originally going to put their house on the market last September, and the house at that time was worth $235,000. And it's going on the market today for $260,000.
Wow.
So,
Well,
right?
that's incredible. Cindy was just sharing in her own area, not far from here. There's almost $150,000 difference from 2 years ago to today. I'm like, oh my gosh, incredible. What an investment. And if you, provide that extra layer in getting that house sold, creating that, comfort level, it's a win-win for everybody.
Right. And our senior series resulted from the fact that when I was working with seniors, they said, well, I would like to know more about this question. So what I ended up is breaking down every piece of my senior overview and making it their own. So if you want to stay at home, which a lot of people do, and that was one of the questions that I had with another community last week, they're like, well, the family said, we're just going to put an elevator in the house. Right?
Oh my gosh.
So the loved one can go up and down and they don't have to worry about the stairs. I said, well, yes, but besides that, what about a million of other things that the home has to have? And we went through all of those examples, and the family realized that they would have to put in at least $50,000 to $75,000 in the house to make it livable and safe for their loved one. And then you just kind of decide, is it really worth it? Because the elevator is not going to help, because there's other things that the family won't realize is needed. So we delve into it. And again, what I strive for is to have the resources that are easy matter to understand for families and for the seniors as well.
I think you're doing an awesome job. Thank you so much.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, ladies, if there's nothing else, we're going to wrap up our coffee talk. And, this recording, of course, we will send to you and they'll be available. If you feel comfortable, you're more than welcome to share it with your potential residents and their families if they have any questions on what does it take in terms of the process of downsizing and moving into a community like yours. I'm more than happy as well. And Patty, any questions that you can think of?
No, I work for an adult day center, so I was happy to see that you mentioned it in some of your notations.
Absolutely, because a lot of times, sometimes, if they stay at home, that's one of the things that I suggest, which actually is part of our age at home series, where it's important to have the social interaction if they're at home.
Well, also if they're moving in with adult children.
That's true.
Right. We have a lot of that. Now.
I just think to my grandmothers, they took advantage of the adult daycare center twice a week religiously. And to them, it was like not to be missed, almost like a
It's
social
like happy hour to
appointment.
us, right?
Yes, it was. They played games, they socialized, and I know it was super important to them. So adult daycare is very important.
I thought your presentation, I think a lot of my families wouldn't even know that a realtor would have all of those resources, the packing, the moving, the contractors. I wouldn't have known that. So that's good to know that you have that available. I think that's like a very big key selling point, because it is overwhelming, like Cindy said.
I wear very many hats because, you know, in order to get to the home sale, you have to get through so many hurdles first, mental and physical. So that's all part of the job. Yes, for
A
sure.
lot. Yeah, thank you.
All right, ladies, have a great rest of your Wednesday. Thank you so much
too.
again
Thank
for allowing me to
Heather,
share
it was
what
nice
I'm
to meet you.
passionate
Good to
about.
see you, Cindy.
Thank you
Great
again.
afternoon, you guys.
All right,
Take
have a great
care.
afternoon,
Bye.
everyone. We hope to see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.